Humans, this is Dr. Kai, and I'm with Aramis and with some people from the Mug Club that I've bumped into, Thudpucker and Sacram. There's more people showing up as we speak. I am hoping to bounce through a few other instances towards the end of the stream, but while I've got some people, I'll keep them while I can. So, this is it. This is technically the end of Distant Worlds 2. Now, when I say the end, doesn't mean it's over. I'm going to be here for a few weeks. These guys are going to be here for a few weeks. There's still plenty of time to have fun. I'm planning, I've fallen in love with Beagle Point. Properly fallen in love with it. The way it's changed now. That sun is just the right amount of bright. The sky is just the right amount of orange haze. The mountains are just perfectly distant and beautiful and give me a sense of... You know what, this is probably the most beautiful place I've seen so far on Distant Worlds 2. And I've seen a lot of places, as I'm sure you all have, because it's been 5 months, practically, that we've been on the road in the black. So when I say it's over, I don't mean it's over. There's no need to cry or anything. If I get emotional, it's probably just because I got like a bit of a cold and I don't know. But this is kind of where the official stuff ends, as it were. Now, for those of you wondering who haven't heard already, we do have a decal, and therefore we are setting a limit to everyone about when they should arrive at Beagle Point, just like we did in Distant Worlds 1. And if you arrive within the window of April 22nd to June 13th inclusive at Beagle Point, and you're on the official roster, and you sign in the form that is provided in many places. I'm not going to take the time to link it on the stream just now, unfortunately, but all you have to do is Google Distant Worlds 2 Arrivals. It's pinned in the Distant Worlds forum on Frontier Forums, and once you filled out that form and you've given your consent and you've given your email address, after June 13th I will be sending everyone an email with a key to put into the Frontier store that will unlock the decal for you. Obviously there will be some exceptions made, so don't panic too much if you didn't actually make it to the roster, but you can kind of demonstrate to me that you did take part and you had good reason and yada yada yada, or if you made it outside the window, but again you had good reason and you did try your best. I'm going to be very lenient about this. I just don't obviously want to make it so to the point that the decal is meaningless. So if I get thousands of people asking me, like in August, then I'm at that point probably going to be saying no. But the Distant Worlds 2 decal is something that you should wear with pride. So I want to make sure that it is something to be proud of. It is something to be proud of. If you just think back to what we've done, let's have a look at the galaxy map. We've crossed this. We've actually done it. We've come from here, and for many of you, a simple trip from the bubble to Maya, which is over here, seems very daunting. I remember when it was daunting for me. In fact, you can probably see it in this mess of blue dots, my first trip there. And I remember doing that and thinking it was absolutely crazy. And then I did upgrade my ship, and I did another expedition. I believe my second expedition was to the Fine Ring Nebula. And eventually at some point I went to the core, and that was just, it took me 2 months to get there and back. Back in the day when the galaxy was big. But it hasn't changed size, it's just that our jump ranges have got bigger. But either way, this is a monumental undertaking. There was once upon a time where it was a very small, like, you know how they say only 0.036% of the galaxy has been explored? Well, there was a very large chunk of time when only 0.00036% of the player base had actually made it even past the core, not to mention all the way over here. Aramis pioneered the way. We follow in his footsteps, and it is an honor for me to be able to be with him here again. We arrived earlier this afternoon, me and him together. We did the jumps together, and it was quite emotional for both of us. He showed me a couple of places that he'd been to on that first trip, back when he genuinely thought that he wasn't going to be able to see anyone out here. He thought that the places he saw would probably never be seen by anyone else, because not only is it so far out, but so few people were ever going to come. But somehow we managed to put together an expedition, and we found lots of courageous pilots in Distant Worlds 1 who were willing to make that journey. And because of that, and because of the publicity that we got there, nearly 14,000 people this time felt that they were up to the task. And now this is one of the most travelled parts of the galaxy. You probably saw lots of emptiness right up until the last 10,000 light years, and then you probably didn't see a single system that hadn't been explored. This is all thanks to Aramis. This is all thanks to the tenacity and the incredibleness, if that's a word, of the Distant Worlds fleet. You guys. I'm just going to have a quick look at the messages. We're getting thanked. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you guys. We're going to get to the thank yous in a second. I've got a lot to say, because it is technically my final speech. Back to what I was saying before. This is the end of the official management of Distant Worlds. Oh, we've got more people coming in. That's great. So it's time to say all the thank yous and to say the final words, but not to dismiss the fleet. I think I will log in again sometime around June the 13th when we officially close the ability to log in at Beagle Point and be counted as part of the expedition. So I will do a dismissal of the fleet like I did in the original one, and maybe make a final speech then, and maybe have some organisers with me to do that. But what I wanted to do now is to firstly make some thank yous, and then talk about our achievements in brief, and then make sure that I read something that Aramis wanted to be said. I thought, why should I do all the talking? He's really the one whose footsteps we follow in. He's the one that planned the whole route. He's the one that inspired everything, and he has been the idea factory for all the best ideas, bar none. In fact, his latest great idea was, I just made a mug that you could buy to commemorate your arrival at Beagle Point. It will have your name, a picture of the galaxy map and the route, a picture of Explorer's Anchorage. And he said, why don't you give people the ability to submit a photo of their ship, a screenshot of their ship, and you can put it on the mug. This is Aramis for you guys. He just, he sneezes and 10 great ideas come out of his nose. Like, I'm not joking. So, hello to everyone at Beagle Point, and congratulations for making it. I'm just saying to the stream. Alright, so I think it's time to pass on some thank yous. I've got a list here because they are long and I don't want to miss anyone. I'm going to be very brief about what I say about everyone, and if I don't make a notable mention about an organizer or a particular contributor who has done a lot of work, it's only because I'm just constrained for time. There's too many, and I wasn't even... The organisation of Distant Worlds got bigger than I could comprehend, and I was supposed to be overseeing it, so that's just goes to show how big the whole thing was. So Aramis and myself would like to thank the Distant Worlds 2 organisation team, its project leaders and the individual team members, the event creators, the console team and the FleetCom admins, the moderators, the helpers, for their time and dedication in helping to make this expedition into the amazing gaming experience it's been. We want to thank the Rock Rats, the Iridium Wing, the Screaming Eagles, Children of Raxler, DSN for their participation, and also EDSM and Explorer on Tour, and I'm sure many others that I'm not going to be able to mention right now. The expedition was organised by a whole team, not by individuals. The vast majority of these people have been worked tirelessly in the background with no public presence, but the work they've put into it has been integral in making Distant Worlds 2 an event packed full of fun gameplay, events and social interaction that has been shared by thousands of players, had thousands more to watch it unfold, and no doubt will have thousands more reading about it for a long time to come. Look at this motley crew. Ah, Mugball! or lag ball as we call it. We're going to have to play a game after this. I'll get my VR headset on and we'll have a game. So we've got on the Distant Worlds 2 website a list of the team, and I strongly encourage everyone to go and have a look at it. It tells you lots of people who are involved. Just at a glance, I'm going to say that let's see some names here that I'm not going to get to later. So we've got the console team, which is a huge number of people. Wilfred Sephiroth, XTA80. Oh no, and the game just crashed. Oh dear. 1 second. Let's get that back going while I'm reading this. There's just so many names here. I strongly suggest you go and read them. We've got all the names of the admins and the mods and helpers. We've got Polish Dan of the IMU. They've now left, so I might leave them behind, so I just want to mention that name now. He lives and breathes mining, and if it weren't for him, the CGs would not have gone as successfully as they did, along with his whole team, as well as Commander Will T. Riker. I must mention Drebin Omega and the Oceania team. There's probably a lot of names there that I haven't got at the top of my tongue right now, but I do want their names to be well known, and they probably know. The Oceania team hopefully know about them. It's been really well done. We've got the Galactic Travel Agency and Cola 2 and Dionon. We've got the Fleet Mechanics Coordinators, Alex Brentnall, Repairman Patch, Crunchy Baton. We've got the people that were in charge of the groups, the official groups. We've got the squadron leaders. But I think now I'm going to get into some just a little bit more detail with some big names of people that, from my point of view, did a hell of a lot of organising. One was Cohen Leth. He was one of the first people that Aramis brought on board to see the early plans for Distant Worlds 2 and help lay the foundation work for it over 18 months ago. The sheer amount of work he put into the project since then, with the setting up of the roster, website hosting, graphics, admin work, and interacting with the community on the forums and Discord when promoting Distant Worlds 2, as well as dealing with a lot of very difficult things. A lot of being a moderator that comes with the territory, and he got the worst of it. And just the amount of he gave us his soul, basically. He really did. He really put everything into it, right up until his last ounce of strength. And it's something that we'll always be personally grateful to him for. We must also thank Kankra Vantas, Satsuma and Neotron, as well as their moderator team and helpers, for the dedication in administrating the FleetCom Discord server, which over the space of a few weeks at one point had an influx of over 10,000 new members to deal with. They also helped with the private groups, which was a hell of a job, really caused a lot of burnout, dealt with dealing with security issues in the background as well as overt ones, and we cannot thank them enough. That was a very, very messy job, and I'm very glad that they took it off my hands, because I would not have wanted to have dealt with it. I want to personally thank Alistair Hope. Alistair Hope has been a pillar of the expedition. While a lot of the organisers became quite burnt out, he was one of the few that had a lot of energy and made sure that things kept ticking over, organising events. I want to personally thank All Crows Are Black for single-handedly, well, not single-handedly, I take that word back completely, but even if she had had no help, she would have made PlayStation 4 what it was. She was just absolute superstar when it came to making sure that PlayStation 4 people were looked after, and to be honest, I kind of regret not being on PlayStation 4 myself and being just underneath her wing and being looked after by her and being helped by her, and just cannot thank her enough. I feel like I'm going to miss some names here, and I'm worried. Alex Brentnall for sorting out the hull seals, the fleet mechanics, doing so much work with that, always getting me something from the newsletter. I'm going to just read some names now and then move on, because I don't want to lose the attention of people. Sometimes people don't like hearing endless thank yous. So we've got Brother Sabithius. We've got Olivia Vespera, John Burnage, Velin Zendaris, Kalan and Alcatraz. Those last three names, Olivia, Kalan and Valen, really did help at the very beginning. Oh, yeah, sorry, didn't realise. Baroness Galaxy, Eisen, Greatest, Michael Darkmore really helped at the beginning, and also most of them helped throughout the expedition. Rebecca Lansing for coordinating the mass jumps. Arpator, John Burnage and Ray's Drake really helping with that. Those were an integral part of the expedition and really helped keep things connected, and a lot of people were constantly praising that. JT442 on the Xbox, he helped me a lot. Duncan Hunter and Eisen really helped me with the newsletter, so did Whitman. Sajime Chenchi was another pillar of the expedition, providing loads and loads of people with light. She was a proper light in the darkness, in the black. I don't want to say the darkness because that sounds a bit morbid, but she was a light in the black of space. So many people tell me that they hung out with Sajime Chenchi at one point and just had such a good time. So a lot of the personality and a lot of the goodness of the expedition came through her. And I've definitely missed out some names, but I'm going to move on now. I do want to thank Charlie Hall from Polygon Magazine for providing us with professional coverage of the expedition, committing months of his game time to travelling with the fleet and promoting the event to the gaming world in general, for taking part in its events and following the players' stories as they unfolded across the galaxy, chronicling his journey in a fantastic series of articles that perfectly capture the essence of Distant Worlds 2. Very grateful. It was an absolute privilege to be followed by such a great writer and such an amazing journalist. And finally, I'd like to thank Frontier Developments for supporting Distant Worlds 2 with its community goals. They allowed the expedition to be the vehicle to create a new chapter of lore in the construction of a starport right in the heart of the galaxy. That's a big deal for them, as I'm sure they had plans of their own for that unique part of the galaxy, but they saw the potential of what Distant Worlds was striving to achieve, and they supported the initiative, giving the players the opportunity to make some gameplay history and lore along the way. They really did help us a lot in the background with their live streams, talking to me, helping me, and fixing bugs and doing things in the background that I can't say. They've just done so much, so big thanks to Frontier. And finally, a big thanks to you, the Distant Worlds 2 fleet. Distant Worlds 2 has been a journey not just in the game itself, but a journey of social interaction, making friends, working as a team, and seeing people's ideas flourish and be embraced by thousands of fellow explorers. As was the case on Distant Worlds 1, which gave rise to the Rats and Candy Crew, Distant Worlds has once again been the birthplace of more emergent gameplay ideas and groups. This time, the community now have the amazing Hull Seals, the Kingfishers, and Distant Radio 3305, plus others I'm sure I'm unaware of. Again, it's spiraled out of control even for me. And we hope they're going to be part of many events and expeditions to come. But most of all, it's been fantastic to see so many thousands of players, many of them new, not only to exploration, but also to Elite Dangerous itself, come along on this journey of discovery and enjoy the best of what online gameplay is like in a sandbox world. Without you, there is no event. Your participation on this journey will be immortalized on the fleet roster and on the arrivals thread, and in all the places where you tell your stories. The Explorer's Anchorage and the soon-to-be added DSSV Distant Worlds Megaship and the Sagittarius A-Star Research Laboratory, which you were a part of bringing into being, will be some of the lasting in-game legacies of this adventure, and something future explorers will be visiting and making use of for years to come. So, I've got some final words, but I do want to just mention a few more things. So, firstly, we made gaming history. Depending on what metrics you use, I think we broke some considerable records. I'm sure we could get into the Guinness Book of World Records. I'm waiting to hear back from them, actually, to see if they're going to accept us. But consider that this was a player-on event, written by the players, organised by the players, and overseen by the players. It had almost 14,000 participants, and it took place over several months in one of the largest video game worlds so far created, on one of the longest journeys ever created. We can't think of any other player-created event in any other video game doing anything on this scale, or for this long, in this big a gaming world. Distant Worlds 2 was extensively covered by dozens of press write-ups, and around 30 magazine articles were written about it, including coverage in the New Scientist. That had 1 million scientific readers, so that is something to be proud of. The expedition was featured on mainstream German radio broadcasts, and the expedition even received a good luck message from astronaut Chris Hadfield on the eve of its launch. It's been talked about far and wide because it caught the imagination of people who love to see this kind of creative energy and enthusiasm from a gaming community. Now, there is a return journey that has been suggested, but it is not officially being handled by Distant Worlds organisers. If anyone wants to do anything, it cannot be under the Distant Worlds banner. But we do expect and encourage people to go home together with their new friends. They could take the Voyager's Reach Voyager Trail. That's been shared by Aramis on Discord and in the forum. As well as a good summary of the trip. And he's also got a bit of speculation about what may come next. I'm not going to read that out now, but suffice it to say that Distant Worlds 3 isn't going to be contemplated for several years. We need something brand new in the game to make it worthwhile. We broke ground this time, just like we broke ground last time. We discovered so many things. In fact, you know what? Here's something we broke grounds with. This CG business that we got up to is pretty new. Going on an expedition, and the purpose of the expedition is for the sake of a CG for building a station out in the black. That's brand new, and you know what? We changed the game, because now Frontier have obviously liked the idea, and they've added these new, what do they call them? Initiatives? Very, very similar concept. So, yes, once again, we, and when I say we, I mean all the new people as well. I'm not just trying to talk about the people that came on Distant Worlds 1, I'm talking about the new people as well. We've changed the face of the game. We've changed the perception of the game once again. We've brought the perception of the game further. We've touched the non-gaming world this time. Last time we didn't do that. We only made it to gaming magazines. This time we made it to German radio, Swedish radio, national radio. We made it to New Scientist. What's that got to do with games? Nothing. We did that. That's something that you can always be proud of. So, it's a shame that it's over, but it's gone absolutely perfectly. I wouldn't change anything for the world. I just absolutely wouldn't. Oh, Cohen's now in the chat. I hope you heard me thanking you. I'm not going to do it again. Yeah, so, as I say, we really changed the perceptions of the game. Now, I believe that we managed to convince griefers to come all the way to Beagle Point. Think about that. We made explorers out of griefers. That's something to be proud of. I think everyone in the bubble is eagerly hoping for every drop of news that we send back. And they're absolutely loving hearing about Distant Worlds. And many people who, once again, never would have considered being explorers are probably now exploring the galaxy. Considering it, working on their first ship. Many people bought the game, and their very first thing they did was to come on an expedition like this, and I've just been continually impressed by every single person I've run into, every single story I've heard. I'm going to now say some final words, and then as I do so, I'm actually try and switch up some instances, see if I can find any other people to just see, you know, that's one of the things I said before. Distant Worlds was so broken up, and it's hard to comprehend that really there are thousands of people here having experiences that we're having. But the game keeps it condensed, and we only ever bump into a handful of people at a time. So what I'd like to do is just switch to FleetCom and see some people. So let's have a look over here. We're on each other's friends lists, in each other's private groups. Many of us in squadrons together. We chat all the time on Discord and roughly in the same part of the galaxy. So it's not over. Even when we move on, we will always be more than friends. We have a bond now that you can only get from a long challenge like this. All these people I have a bond with, you know? I'll always have a bond with. When we see those decals, we're going to know. It's going to mean something. A bond that comes out of the journey of discovery itself. From the building of Sagittarius A**'s first scientific research outpost and the furthest station from the bubble ever made. From breaking records, from seeing sights and wonders that have made our hearts flutter, from playing games and hanging out on alien worlds. The journey of discovery may be over, but we will keep what we found forever. Let's see if I can get to another instance now. We've also produced volumes and volumes. Looking back now at what's been going on, I'm finding myself discovering all kinds of amazing things you guys have achieved and done. There are stories that have been told. They could be found in the Journey of Discovery thread. They could be found told by you in the Arrivals thread. It's probably going to keep ending up in the same instance. Oh no, it looks like a different one. Oh no, it's the same one. They could be found lurking in blogs and on stream clips and other places on the web. There is enough to read for a long time, and I for one will be looking back on our experience in new ways for many years to come, by reading and watching all of this. Commander Aramis has made a forum thread, which I have basically just been putting a lot of information for, that commemorates the expedition, and it's got the thank yous and all that I just read out. He also has a playlist there of over 80 videos that he could find. So also the newsletter is about to come out, and it's got something very important. Commander All Crows Are Black, who I recently mentioned, has made an article commemorating some of the very special commanders who did amazing things. Well, Aramis also has made a very long diary entry, and we have a few additional articles, well, I'm not going to say including that last bit, because I'm not sure if it's going to make it on time. As commanders are now slowly arriving at Beagle Point, we are pleased to announce that there... Oh, I've already said that, so I'm not going to read that anymore. Aramis did give me something to say, as I said at the beginning, and I feel it's only fair, forget fair, it's more appropriate than ever that he does some of the talking. I'm going to read out what he asked me to say, because his voice is really important. He's the one we followed. Out here. He's the one that started all this, as I said at the beginning. I'm going to go... Let's see if I can get another instance. You know what, I'm going to go into open. I'm in my SRV, what's the worst that could happen? I just want to... I know some people came in open, and I want to honour them. They're all dead. Sorry. Okay. Alright, let's go back into FleetCom. Let's see if there's anyone in my... Well, yeah, let's go to FleetCom. Okay, so Aramis' final thoughts. Distant Worlds was unlike any other journey attempted before. It's been an ambitious undertaking for a player-created event, one that was on a scale that had never been attempted before in Elite Dangerous, and possibly in any other game world either, for that matter. Thousands of commanders embarked on this 5-month endeavour and helped carve out a new chapter of human expansion and scientific discovery, with the building of the Explorer's Anchorage and soon-to-be deployed Science Relay at the heart of the galaxy. Those of you who made it to the core and helped build the Anchorage will have something to look back on with pride. Something you helped bring into being, and something that thousands of fellow explorers will visit and utilize in the years to come. Many commanders embraced the challenge of pushing on beyond the galactic core once these industrial endeavors were completed, and helped map vast regions of the galactic aphelion before heading out to Beagle Point and our journey's end. Those of you who have made it all the way to the galactic rim have joined an exclusive club. You crossed an entire galaxy. You endured the hyperspace grinds of the aphelion regions. You navigated the abyss, and you have visited Beagle Point, an otherwise unremarkable star system on the fringes of the intergalactic void. But a star system that has become a beacon of endurance and determination, as that's what it takes to reach it, out here in the far reaches of space. These will be some of Distant World's lasting legacies, and a testament to the tenacity and endurance of all those who took part in this journey of discovery. On behalf of the organisers, we salute you. Aramis Kamzel. I think it's also appropriate that I read what it says here. Beagle Point marks the end point of a galaxy-spanning expedition undertaken by Commander Kamzo in 3301. It was called the Distant Suns Expedition. At the time, the system was known as Seekia ZQ-L C24-0, but Kamzo nicknamed it Beagle Point after his beloved Beagle, Jack, who passed away shortly before. 1 year later, the system was chosen as the final destination of the Distant Worlds expedition, resulting in an influx of over 500 pilots in April 3302. In recognition of these events, Universal Cartographics officially renamed the system Beagle Point on the 26th of May 3302. I also visited the beacon that was here. There's another dog to honour. Zai the Beagle was the epitome of the phrase man's best friend. Endlessly loyal and loving, Zai made sure his commander was cuddled relentlessly after returning from a long journey, whether it was to another system, nebula, black hole, or just a local shop. He spent his days dashing around, making friends with anyone who came near him, and accompanying Commander Crispy Toast in his official as his official exploring buddy. On his adventures through space, often wrapped in a blanket. To all commanders who find this beacon, raise your hand and salute 07 to Zai. May he run wild and free, and raise your hands and salute to Jack, the Beagle, in whose name the system was named. So that's it from me. I'm going to quickly go into a voice chat, if I can, and see if I can get any nice things said from people. Hello.
Hey.
This is Dr. Kai.
Hello.
And I'd just like to point out that you are on the official final live stream of Distant Worlds. And I was thinking that maybe you'd like to say something so I don't get to hog the mic.
Ooh. Ooh.
Have you had a good time?
Oh yes.
Yes. It's
Yes,
been
sir.
amazing.
So much.
I don't know if I speak for anyone else but myself, but as representing the radio, I want to thank you for the opportunity that I think we've all had to connect and be part of a greater community that really represents how great and wonderful this community is and everything that it can accomplish when it genuinely comes together to push for a goal.
I am so happy that you guys made Distant Radio 3305, and the amount of energy and effort you've put into it has genuinely impressed me. I can't believe it's been so successful, but that is a testament to how amazing you guys are. By the way, for everyone wondering, that is, I hope I pronounced this correctly, it's Chank Sautome.
Chank Sautome, yeah, everybody's favorite redneck on the rim.
Alright.
I can see some other names here. Galia's Doppelganger, who's helped me a lot with the newsletter, always made sure that there was a good science piece. Hi.
Hello. I just want to thank you for the expedition and thank all the organizers. It's been really awesome and all the events have been awesome. And thank you everyone that has been on the expedition.
Well, on behalf of myself, you're welcome, and on behalf of everyone else, I'm sure they would also say you're welcome. Anyone else want to say something for Legacy?
I never had a chance to really help.
Oh, hey, Dr. Kai.
Hey, Nolly. Yeah, yes.
Hi,
What's
Olivia.
wrong with
Hi,
you?
Lance.
I think,
I know
Dr. Kai,
all the whole seals.
I think what you've done is you've created an extended family, and I think we're going to be here forever. I think there's there's been no negativity whatsoever on this expedition, and everyone's helped each other, and we've been there for each other, and we've got home from work on a very busy day, and we've jumped on and you know actually just interact. And I think I've interacted more on this expedition than I have my own physical family. I don't know if that's a bad thing.
No, I think people need to interact with... Well, whatever, I'm not going to get into philosophy of that. I don't think that's a bad thing, put it that way. But
We
what
all
you just
find
said...
our brothers and sisters where we find them, not where they place themselves.
Yeah, and what you just said is it makes me so happy. I mean, I said it before, but well, you said a couple of things that are important to me. One is that despite everything, the internet, the griefers that have been following us, the fact that the internet itself is a place of grief and trolling, and it's so easy to delve into negativity on the internet. We all know that. It's kind of like the norm, and the fact that we've managed to stay for 5 months with 13,000 people and have this much. Just, I'm not trying to be sappy. Like, don't get me wrong. Being positive and all that is. There's nothing. I don't mean it in a sappy way. Like, oh, you know, I don't want my feelings hurt. I mean it in a way that it's just like. Every single person on this expedition is a really special person. Like, people are very, 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 very special things, and the fact that we've always had such a good time. Pardon?
People love Sappy.
But also the negativity, the
whole
griefers.
story about not loving Sappy is just the internet negativity. People love it because it's something that we can relate to. It's something we all desire. It's something we want in our lives. And
I know, but we also want to be strong and confident.
This expedition has given that to so many people.
Yeah.
But even the griefers, though, and the gankers, we hate them. But I think even those people have brought us closer together, because when we have had an instance where a ganker's managed to get into the instance, we've all banded together and prevented them from being a ganker.
Yeah. It's true. And we turned them into explorers. Some of them came all the way to Beagle Point with us.
The resources we had here.
Well, I played in solo from alpha days, and this is the first time I've played in multiplayer. So that's as big a testament as I can make for DW.
I hope my fellow organisers are listening to this and understanding just what they've contributed to. Like, creating friendships, just creating friendships, creating happiness in the world. Like Xavier just said, people come home after a hard day, and whereas they otherwise would just continue the stress until something else can calm them down, we provided them with a reliable, sure way of turning whatever stresses of the day into something positive, and then bringing that with them to the rest of the day and to their families. And yeah, it's powerful stuff. It's powerful stuff.
Well,
Sappy.
and you've done something even more than that, because you've created an entirely new emergency response group
Yeah.
in the game that will be continuing on after the Distant Worlds.
Yeah, so much to be proud of.
Yeah, I mean, everything that's been accomplished with this is just incredible. In-game, out-of-game, everything.
And although Elite Dangerous itself hasn't been updating content-wise, I think we've created our own content.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
Well, that's what Distant Worlds does. It's what I said in my equivalent speech on Distant Worlds 1. Distant Worlds showed that this game can be played. We don't have to rely on Frontier to add content. They basically provide us with an entire galaxy, and then we fill it with all this, you know? All this stuff that we created.
They give us a canvas, and we are the paint.
Yeah, and you saw from Distant Worlds 1 how much stuff carried on after that, and I'm sure it's going to be the same this way.
I'd like to take this moment to speak up an old quote, but one of my favorites is an ode to all explorers. I'm sure some of you know the reference, but let's hear it again. Always moves my. It says, "This cause of exploration and discovery is not an option we choose. It is a desire written in the human heart. We are that part of creation which seeks to understand all creation. We find the best among us, send them forth into unmapped darkness, and pray they will return. They go in peace for all mankind, and all mankind is in their debt."
We go in peace for mankind. I like that. That's
It's
very
a classic. Who got the reference? I mean, this is my favorite thing about exploring ever, as a quote goes, but it's a...
Kennedy, no?
Neil Armstrong.
That was after the crash of the space shuttles in the 90s.
Then I suppose it was
George
Reagan.
W. Bush. George W. Bush, you got it right.
Nobody got it right. Oh, did someone say George?
2000.
Well, I've got a quote,
2003, I got the year wrong, too.
but I'm just going to read some stuff from the chat. So, thank you so much for organising. Best fun I've ever had.
Well, I was going to point out that the last paragraph of Carl Sagan's infamous pale blue dot is that it has been said that astronomy is a humbling and character-building experience. There's perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known. And I think out here, in our conceit to escape and run away, we have found exactly what our home is and what it really means in each other.
If it's that was beautiful. If it's okay for me to say a few words from someone who's actually been out of the game for the majority of the expedition, but still following it, reading all of your newsletters, seeing your images and what you've all built. It's a little counter what you just said, but to me, all of you are pretty much rock stars in my eyes. You've made this.
You as well, Olivia. I know you've been out of it towards the end, but at the beginning, your what you added has echoed throughout the whole thing.
I think I want to add one more thing, and that is, I think we should hold a cheers, a glass up to Dr. Kai.
Oh,
for
and Aramis. And can we make sure that anything that's done to me should be passed on to all the organisers as well?
How do we feel about hip hip?
Yeah, we could do a hip hip.
Just posted a link in Expedition Voice called the Pale Blue Dot. I encourage all of you to find the time and look at it.
Okay. So I've got a glass of wine.
Here would enjoy it. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure. I will after this. So I've got a glass of wine. I'm gonna propose a toast.
I got my whiskey, so we're set. Let's do this.
So, Commanders, it has been an absolute honour to fly with you. I've had the time of my life and made good friends. You have made me proud in every stage of the way. As Distant Worlds 2 outbound journey to Beagle Point draws to a close, we leave a trail of light in the black, lit up by thousands of bright souls who courageously cross the entire galaxy to see its furthest reaches, to seek its secrets, and in so doing, form a lasting bond of kinship that no other journey in human history has ever discovered. The photons of that bright light will propagate through the galaxy in no hurry, carrying the echoes of our great achievements forevermore. Cheers!
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 Okay, so
cheers.
I am going to end the stream soon. Hooray! I'm gonna end the stream soon. That is it. There will be, as I say, there'll be like one more kind of technically official thing, which will be the fleet dismissal for anyone who happens to be around on June 13th. Obviously, I'll make sure there are people around, otherwise I'll just call it off. There is no official dismissal. I'm going to stay here for a while. I hope everyone else does, and we can hang out and we can party. And we can explore this area of space. People will head back.
There is the 18th.
Okay. I'm gonna try a chair, okay? And it's all clear, then we can pretty much stop it anytime we want, okay? So, right, okay. Okay, I'm gonna say it, and then you guys say hooray as you do. Okay, 3 cheers and 3 cheers and 3 cheers for Distant Worlds. Hip hip!
Hooray!
Hooray!
Hip hip!
Hooray!
Hooray!
Hip hip!
Hooray!
Hooray!
There we go. It's just...
Well done, Commanders.
Also, I know several of the hull seals will be staying around until June 13th for those late to Beagle Point that will need repairs, so there will be people around to greet and hang out with.
Yeah.
Through the 18th, there will be things, but unless Kai wants to say it, I'm not going to say it first.
I'm not going to say anything.
I'm staying here till.
Either then.
What?
I'm staying here for 12 months, so there'll be a seal here for 12 months from now. So I'm staying here until 2020.
I've actually made it back into the game, and I'm gonna try and make it to Beagle Point in about 2 weeks. I'm gonna go through all the waypoints that I've not yet reached. So hopefully I'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
We might
We'll
fall
be
some
here.
of the last ones of Permit-Lock sector, making it tricky, so don't hesitate to go around those.
Oh,
I'm still
yeah,
hanging
okay.
around over there.
I think I'm going to destroy my SRV if I can.
Also,
A destruction derby ride.
Actually, no, I'm not. I've changed my mind. I've taken it up.
Kai, you should remind Cohen that we are going to hear his voice, and he can't stop that from happening.
Are we?
Voice.
We love him, and he means so much to
I'm glad.
everything.
I'm glad he's being recognised for the amazing,
Yes.
amazing person he is.
There
Cohen
was
is recognized.
I
was
did
a
thank him
send-off
before
yesterday.
in the stream. He probably missed it. Oops, I accidentally just shot someone. Air Chief Jim, you just got shot by Dr. Kai. I'm now going to get kicked from the private group. And that's it. It turns out I was the biggest griefer of all. Ah! No.
We had the Viking funeral the other day, and a lot of people shoot at one ship.
Yeah, that was in a separate PG.
Oh
though.
no, that was in different.
You know, if can I just say, if the griefers were noble, like they actually were kind of, they had some honor, I would genuinely offer, and I'm sure Aramis and probably several people would offer, like, okay, you can kill us, as long as you promise never to kill anyone else. You can have your headline, you killed Dr. Kai, you killed Aramis, I'm sure he'd offer. Now, please leave everyone else alone. But no, it just wouldn't work.
I'm
some of them
sure
probably
they
would.
I'm sure they would love to kill me or Nagi on a radio stream when we have, 100 people watching a launch.
You should do a charity stream and blow someone up for charity when you hit a target.
They almost took me out the other day, a couple of weeks ago.
No, Nagi's another radio host. Me and him are basically in charge of the video streams.
Okay, so just so everyone knows, I've fallen in love with Beagle Point. I really have, and I foresee myself logging in very often over the next few weeks. For anyone hanging around, just keep an eye on the Distant Worlds 2 announcements. I might make a silent announcement there saying I'm going to log on soon, and we can get some games going. I'd really love to recreate some of the games we had last time, like Whack-A-Rat. We can find a good place for a Destruction Derby, things like that.
I was wondering about that. When is Beagle Point week?
Well, we got Beagle Point month really. So yeah, I mean we've kind of we're not making anything official like last time for various reasons. But there will be stuff going on. So let's just see what happens.
18.
Why does he keep saying the 18th? Is there something I'm unaware of?
No, you know. Oh.
You don't know.
Wow, he's literally playing that card. He knows exactly what's going on.
Do I? Okay. Apparently I do. But either way.
He knows what's going on.
What's the 18th? What have I missed?
I can't believe I've only lost one SRV in this entire mission.
I've lost 6.
Oh, how many do you carry?
Well, I started out with 2, and I lost those, that complement twice. Then I went back to the bubble and I got a conduct once I became one of the hull seal leads. And I'm now carrying 4, and I've lost 1 before, 1 while we were at XA, and then 1 since then, so I was able to replenish the one I lost at XA, and then I've lost 1 since then, so I've lost a total of 6, and I've got 3 right now.
Well, I've still got 4, and I've actually got 1 on my back right now. It's 7 kilometers high. Whoever you are. Hope you like going into space.
I've lost 3 fighters.
I've lost 2 fighters.
I lost 1 because the game crashed, and then it spawned my mothership more than 30 kilometers away, and then it blew up.
I lost my heart.
Debug of multiplayer.
You guys stole it. But it's okay, I've got 3 more.
Speaking of things to do, by the way, guys, I believe I found 4 decent candidates for an SRB race or derby or whatever.
Alright, be in touch with me and we can help coordinate it. I'm gonna now sign off because whatever reasons I have got to go and attend to things. But it's been an absolute pleasure. This is the final live stream, so once again, a big thank you to everyone who took part. Big thank you to everyone who helped. Big thank you to everyone who helped organise it, and it's been an absolute honour to fly with you guys.
Been on.
Same here.
Same here.
Yeah, same here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So say we all.
So long, humans.
And
So say we all.
Memories
if you
with us forever.
And if you're in the UK, enjoy your bank holiday tomorrow morning.
Oh yes, I forgot about that. Yeah.
So the weather's better though.
Or
Okay.
later.
See you later.